Hello everyone, Panda here. This is supposed to be an art channel, but my first love will always be video games, so I'm gonna cycle back to that a lot. There are many educational games out there. Most of them are pretty bad, and they're mainly used to teach basic alphabet stuff to kids, which is a real shame, because learning is supposed to be fun and interesting, and we're all supposed to wanna just learn more stuff, right? What you see here is a game that I found on itch called Different Strokes. Basically, you walk up to this art exhibit and you can edit a painting that was already put there by someone else, and you can finish it by adding another layer on top, or you can start the first layer if you find a blank canvas. All of the pictures that you see here were made by somebody at some point, and they were uploaded, voted by the community, and now they show up. Art and video games have a very unique relationship because on one hand you have the people that know how to make stuff, which is, the graphics, the music and all that, and then the programmers come in and they make they make the game and you can play it. But as an artist, how do you make art inside of a video game? How do you gamify the creation of art? I'm not really sure how we can approach that subject, and I'm very disappointed that not that many people have tried. This is a very good example of it though, but most of the time you find that somebody makes some kind of paint adjacent program, they slap it on a video game, and then that's all you have. Genius Artist Simulator, I think it's called, is a very good example of this. They made a 3D environment that you can go in, and there's a whole bunch of tools and buckets and all these different things that you can use, and I really like that game. But it's still, you need to know how to make art before coming into that game to make it. And that's the main problem that I have, right? Because you can do a lot of stuff that is not intended. Like you can go into, I think it was Counter-Strike, and you can shoot at a wall and make a picture out of the bullet holes, which is really cool. But that's not really like intended by the developers, and it's sort of like a byproduct that is really cool and you can do it and everybody loves it. But not many games are sitting here trying to teach you how to draw, how to paint, or how to approach the process of making art. Minecraft is probably the best creative game in existence because no matter who you are, it pushes you to make something, to do a thing. It has to come from within you. It doesn't point, there's not that many things that point you in a direction when you're playing Minecraft. There are different achievements that will, point, tell you what you can or cannot do, what you should do next, the tools, the upgrades, the portal to the nether and all that. But you don't really have to do any of these things. There isn't like an objective on the corner of your screen telling you what you have to do. You just sort of have to go out and do stuff. Still, Minecraft is also not that good at teaching you how to make stuff. You can make like a cube, right? And then a house out of a cube by putting up walls and stuff. But it wasn't until I came across my first village and I saw stairs being used for the roof that I sort of got that idea into my head that, oh, I can use different blocks in different ways. It didn't really come naturally to me when I first played, I don't know, like a decade ago. It seems really obvious now, but you call those stairs stairs instead of corners, so it was a little misleading to my brain at least. You can learn how to build in Minecraft by watching other people or following a tutorial, but you don't really know how these people got to these sort of builds unless you know how to make, art in general. This is where today's games come into play. The Art Academy series that was released on the Nintendo DS, 3DS, and I think there's one on the Wii U. These games are almost a decade old at this point, and I am very disappointed that nobody really talks about them, or maybe if they do talk about it, they're kind of buried under, I don't know, whatever people are mad about this week. Hopefully, I can point someone to these games and say, hey, this is some pretty cool stuff. The Art Academy games center around a professor, which is Vince, and he teaches you the basics of how to paint, how to draw, sketching, from looking at a reference, putting it on the canvas. And the program itself tries to imitate real life tools so that you can take a real brush or a real pencil on a piece of paper and get similar results to that you would get when you're playing the game, right? I tried to go through the Art Academy courses on the DS a few times, and I always get frustrated because I can't get the shadow properly, and it's just a bit of a pain, and I really don't know what I'm doing wrong. I thought there was something wrong with my with the emulator or my screen or something, but it turns out that no, I just don't really know how to use the program properly. I just have to go back eventually and do the thing, and it's a whole thing. It's whatever. It turns out that there is a Pokemon and a Disney Art Academy, and that's what I've been trying to lead up to this whole time. They are both very similar in structure, and they're basically the same game except with different contexts. In Disney Art Academy, you go into a summer art camp, you're in a beach resort or whatever, and in Pokemon Art Academy, you go into an official school or whatever, and you're trying to learn how to make art for Pokemon cards, which is pretty cool. I played a little bit of Disney Art Academy to see how it was, but most of my time is spent in Pokemon Art Academy, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. Pokemon Art Academy does something incredible. You have a very realistic setting of what it's like to be inside like a classroom with other art students and an art teacher. When you're doing a lesson, you have the master, which is the Pokemon that you're trying to draw. Then you have your instructor, who is Professor Andy. And finally, you have Lee or Lily, who will show you their work at the end of the lesson. Professor Andy will take you through the drawing step by step while you follow along. He's the one that's showing you how the drawing comes together, and he's teaching you different techniques and so on. And you can see little mistakes here and there that he does. And this is kind of genius because, not everybody is trying to make the perfect work of art. Every single time they try to put, the brush on the easel or whatever it's called. And that kind of eases you into wanting to follow along subconsciously because you're saying, oh hey, the professor kind of messed up here, let me see if I can do it better. The paintings turn out alright. Okay, I'm gonna show off some of my works on screen, and they turned out pretty good, I think. Definitely a lot better than I expected. But then we have the MVP. Since I chose to be a girl, I got Lee. I think Lily is the other character that you'll get if you choose to be a boy or whatever the hell. But basically, they put a very badly done picture at the end of every lesson, and I don't want to like criticize because it's whatever. But here's one of Lee's drawings that you're shown when you finish a lesson. It is objectively really, really bad. There was barely any attempt done at trying to follow along with the instructions and all that. It just doesn't look good by any stretch of the imagination, and that's okay. It's fine. It should be fine. I should not be saying that this is bad. This is just someone who is trying to learn and is here to learn, and he's doing his best, While the game has no way of giving you direct critique, you can at least see that Lee is doing kind of a bad job, and then the professor's trying to like tell him what things he could improve about his art, and that kind of gives you an idea of how you should give and take critique. It's not the best example, but it's the only way that the game has of trying to give you criticism, since it can't really know what you drew. All it can tell you is, hey, you should put down something on the screen. You should make at least one mark before we continue. but that's really all the game has to sort of nudge you into trying to make something. The really good thing is that by the end of the lessons, you can see that Lee's drawings are getting a little bit better. They're still not good, right? There's still a lot of things that are wrong with them, the proportions are off, but it goes from barely putting the colors inside of the lines to having a somewhat okay looking blob of a mess, but it's definitely way better than the first drawing, in my opinion at least. And this is, this kind of simulates what it's like to see someone else get better at art. And at the same time, because their art is, well, pretty, bad, you have something to kind of compare yourself to. Because like I said, you got the master study that we're doing, which is, the first original Pokemon image. It's all perfect, prim, proper. You got the professor who's trying to teach you a technique. Then you have your drawing, which is however it turned out to be. And then you have Lee's drawing to look forward to, which kind of gives you an ego boost, because the whole time you're thinking, man, this is not turning out right, this kind of sucks, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm trying to follow along as best as I can. And then I started looking forward to how Lee's paintings were turning out, because I was like, oh hey, Lee is actually improving. Well, I don't really know what else to say about this game, because it's kind of just, it's a bunch of lessons, and I have heard the criticism that the Pokemon Art Academy doesn't really teach you how to draw, you're just being shown a bunch of techniques, but I kind of disagree. Pokemon Art Academy, and I guess Disney Art Academy, they may not teach you the art fundamentals, but they do kind of give you an idea on an art process and how you can use that process to make some drawings of your own. There are plenty of other images in the free painting that you can use to make other sorts of drawings, and the game does tell you after you're done with all the lessons to go into free paint and keep drawing, keep doing stuff. The thing that this has done, it's helped me enjoy the process a little bit more. There's a big problem when trying to make art, especially when you're getting into your 30s like I am. You get that notion that you're wasting your time because the things that you're making are not good, or you're not getting any sort of, feedback at all, you're just being straight up ignored. But the thing is, you have to enjoy the process, right? You can't just look at a finished product and say, oh yeah, this is good or this is bad. That's not how artists should go about making their art. And this is a really hard lesson to understand. We can't really expect to get good at art without actually doing the art, without practicing, without enjoying the place where we're at right now, and understanding that we have to keep going and try to learn more and get better over time. This is a process that takes you an entire lifetime. Pokemon Art Academy is so far the best time I've had when making illustrations, and I hope that I can take what I learned and apply it to my my other drawing programs like Clip Studio, and I've been trying to use Krita, but it's kind of confusing and I don't want to go through the whole ordeal of learning how to use it, but I probably should, since it's pretty good from what I hear. I should do the other Art Academy games too. I've just been a little burned out from drawing so much on this one. Also, I am making this video that you're watching, so that's another thing I was doing. I got nothing else. Do the there's a thumb, a little finger, whatever, down at the bottom somewhere. You can press that if you like the video, and if you did not like the video, there's the other one. YouTube apparently doesn't really care which one you press as long as you press one of those. It's also like a little bell thing. I think it does something. I don't know if it does something. You gotta You're gonna have to press it and let me know in the comments if that bell button is actually working, because I don't know if it does anything. I don't know what YouTube is trying to do or what it does. And if you can, if you're an artist or you want to get into Art Academy games, I can't tell you how you can get them, but I can tell you that it is possible right now if you have basically any electronic to actually play these things. It will be hard if you don't have like a drawing tablet or if you're not on like a mobile device or something, but I've said too much. I've said too much. Have a good day and goodbye.